Hi, guys. Welcome back to Finding Your Indie. This is Monday Marketing Tips and Tricks, and I'm Bonnie Paulson.
And I'm Andy Stevens.
And we are here to talk to you about,
are your ads working?
Yeah, are your ads working? Yes. Having a hard day, tongue twister.
So, Bonnie, what exactly is an ad's job?
I think this is a basic question, but I think not enough people understand it. They think that it's to sell the books, and that's not their job. We've talked about this in another video, but let's just clarify from the get-go. An ad's job is to get a reader or a customer or a viewer from from point A to point B. That can be point A can be Facebook. It can be a newsletter. It can be, just an AMS. If you're like targeting on Amazon, right, with your AMS ads, like getting them from this point over to your book. An ad can be you're scrolling Google and you see an ad. Like an ad can literally be anything. TikTok has ads, for crying out loud. There's all kinds, you even have them in your email first. I mean, they're everywhere, right? Like ads are everywhere. And the goal is to snag the attention. That's what an ad's job is to snag your attention and get you from point A to point B. After that, it's not that there's nothing else after that. That's not their job, is not to convert crap. Their job is to literally get you from point A to point B.
Yeah. So what metrics prove your ad is working on the ad side?
Great question. The metrics that we like to use, very simple. Look at our video about, are you overanalyzing the data? And we go into a little bit more, but essentially we look at CPC, we look at CTR, and we look at conversion. The conversion is more of, is it going to the correct audience? But the conversion rate is more based on the landing page and the disconnect. But to get there, your CPC tells us what like how high it is, how low it is, tells us, is it going to the correct audience? Does it have the correct image that Facebook wants you to see, or that AMS wants you to be, producing? Are you hitting the correct creatives? Are you there's a whole bunch of things involved with CPC. And CTR is literally your click-through rate. It just talks about, did enough people who saw it click it? The higher the CTR, the more appealing your ad was.
So the main goal is just to get them from Facebook or wherever to your landing page, and then it's all to you.
Yeah, exactly. If you can and a little tip on that, and this might just be like just a little thing, just a tip, is if you make sure that your message is clear and they're the same, they're cohesive on your landing page in your ads, you're going to have a much more successful conversion rate than if you to do something wonky over here and and then your landing page. If you're going to use blurbs, use the same blurb. If you're testing blurbs, then you'll know which one's doing the breakdown, right?
Yeah, that's different. I like to use the same cover, same blurb, same reviews, so everything, it's a mirror, so it's working.
Exactly. Excerpts work great too, but I think there's some other things that you need to do when you use excerpts. But yeah, the reviews are awesome. Reviews are a great way because it's social proof, right? Like that's a huge deal. And people are like, I love this book. Well, good. I'm going to read it too because you loved it.
Make sure you take out all those words in your excerpts.
Yeah, all the words.
All the words.
They don't like cuss words. They don't like sexy words. They don't like words that don't necessarily have to be a cuss word, but they're inappropriate words.
Yeah, there's some words that I'm like, that's not bad. A double
S. It's
or
not
even HE double hockey stick. I don't know YouTube. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. Right? Like, what can we say on here? I don't know.
Yeah, but they don't even like that in an ad. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're right.
You want to explain the goals for an ad?
Yeah. So the goals of an ad obviously is to make money, right? Yeah. Like that's the goal of an ad, is to increase viewers to your page, to your product, and maybe to increase subscribers. But the only reason you're really getting subscribers is to make money. So the goal of it is to make money. But again, that's on the landing page and product quality, how much you actually make, right? Another one would be to increase the return. Again, that's on the product page and the product quality. However, it's the ad's job to make sure people get there. So if you have great ads and a really crappy product, you just did your ads a disservice. Like really you did a really bad disservice for your ads. And that makes me sad when I see people go, oh, my ads are failing because I'm spending this much and I'm not making this much. And I'm like, okay, let me see. Just give me your CPC and your CTR and let's look at your landing page. First place we go is landing page. And then we're like, I know why your ads aren't working. It's not your ads job to make your product look good. It's your ads job to bring people here, and they are, and you're delivering them to a steaming pile of what. It's just,
well, look at your cover and then look at your blurbs. Is your
Yes.
blurb really conveying what the book's about? You know, sometimes I read blurbs and I'm like, I have no clue what
For the
this book is
cover.
about. Or I look at the cover, I'm like, I thought this was a completely different genre, you know?
I was
And I'm like,
expecting
I have
sci-fi
no
romance and I got urban fantasy. I don't
yeah,
know. Like what?
yeah. It just, you know,
You're
so
right.
you have to be really, really clear. So clear on your ads and then clear on your product page.
Yeah. Be clear. There should be no secrets. I guarantee you will have a reader. There's readers out there for everything.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to appeal to, I don't know, if you're trying to appeal to someone who likes paranormal, but you didn't write paranormal, you wrote a YA coming of age book, you're completely missing the point. It's like targeting a dress to someone who is very adamantly only into pants.
Yeah.
Like it's just, it doesn't make sense. And also to increase subscribers. Again, that's something that needs to happen on your landing page. But the goal is to help you get viewers there, to shift the audience. The whole goal of an ad is to shift the audience from where they're at, so Facebook, and shift them to where the goal is, right? The landing page, the products, the
Yeah.
money,
Whether it's
wherever.
direct or
Yes,
or
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yes,
building your newsletter or selling
yes,
direct or on
exactly.
Amazon.
Exactly. That is all the job is of the ads. But, along with that, Mandy, like, what do you think about, are we giving the ads enough time? Are we giving them enough time too? Like, there's so much, right?
Most people don't want to give their ads enough time, you know, because you get excited, you release. Yeah, like I started an ad, it was 5 days ago. Okay. And I'm
5 days?
like, yeah. And I'm like, you know, and I'm like, dude, give yourself some time, you know better. But I was like, oh my gosh,
Yeah. And it's the anxiety. And it's not just excitement. You're right. But it's also the anxiety of, I'm spending cash on this.
Yeah.
Is it making it back yet? What's
Yeah.
going on? Especially if you're trying to wake up on a product page or something. Like I've got one that I'm testing right now, and I'm trying to do this test. And so that means it's not the first 2 weeks, it's the first 6 weeks. I have to let it sit and wake up that product page and wake up and wait for the read through. And it's excruciating because I'm losing money every day and it
Yeah.
sucks, but it's
Does
part of
suck.
it.
But yeah, this is a business. I think a
Mhm.
lot of authors, it's a hobby, but it's a business. If you
Yeah. If
want
you're
to make
spending,
money,
yeah.
you have to invest,
Yeah.
whether you're doing it yourself or you hire somebody to do it for you. Either way,
You're
you know,
right.
you
Yeah.
have to be patient. It's hard. It's really
Yeah.
hard.
It is. It's really hard. So you need to make sure that you're giving the ads enough time to, one, wake up the activity on that book or series. Like I just said, it's going to take some time. It just is. So buckle up, Buttercup. This is what we're doing. Second one is, are you working with any promotions that you have? Like, are you using them in tandem to bring attention to your series? So, are you working with your promotions? Are you, if you have an ad manager or you're running ads yourself or you have a VA that you're working with, are you making sure everyone is aware that there are promotions in play? There are certain things like newsletter swaps happening. You need to make sure that you're aware of what is happening at the same times that your ads are running. Because
Yeah, because if you have a sale, you can target your ads for the sale,
yes,
but the
specific.
sale has to be long enough too.
Yes, you're right. Oh, I had a free book on Friday. Yeah, you did one day. I can't do
Yeah,
anything for you.
can't
You've
do
got
anything.
nothing. Yeah, I can't do anything for you unless you put. No, it still wouldn't work. Maybe $100 because the learning would be about an hour, maybe half an hour. But then you're just going to the wrong audience because the correct learning wasn't in place. So it's
Yeah.
just like no. So yes, you're right. A long enough promotion time. Another thing is are you giving your ads enough time to give not just your ads, but promotions and whatever to collect the read through, sell through on the back end. So if you're doing standalones, you should see something fast, right? Because it's a book one. It's the only book that you're doing. It's a harder audience to hit, but you can do it. But are you seeing a pickup in the overall brand? Are you seeing a pickup in the back, like book two, book three, book four, and follow up on the box sets? Are people giving that enough time? Because that's where your money's coming from, not just from book one.
Yeah.
Very rarely do
But
you
the
make
entire
money.
series, yeah.
Yeah, the entire series. And then did you give it enough time to get through the testing phase? Like, I think a lot of people just are like, I'm jumping into ads and I should be seeing money right now, but you don't know what your correct audience is yet. You don't know what your correct creatives are. Like, there's so much goes into testing. Usually, when we start a new client, we say the first month is dedicated to
But
testing.
yeah, it's just testing.
Yeah, we don't
Seriously.
Yes, exactly. We
And of
might be
course,
able to start.
people get like, oh, I'm spending money, but
Yeah,
you have to think long term on this.
you have to. Yep. And it's stressful. We get it. We know it's stressful. As you're doing your own ads, as you're having someone else do your ads, even if it's not us, whatever, whoever's doing your ads, or if it's you or someone else, the biggest name of the biggest tool in the game is patience. It literally is. You don't know if you don't know something until you've tested and you've given yourself time. Like it just is. It sucks.
Yeah.
Don't we have a video on patience?
We do.
We most likely do. And if we don't, we should write it down, Mandy. Just kidding. So let's just end that with don't put so much pressure on your ads. Put more pressure on your craft, right? Most of your money comes from your books. If you're an author, that's what you're here for, is you're making money with your books. If your books aren't good, you're not going to make money. I think that's fair to say, right? So if you're not ready and you don't know if you're ready, we have a free challenge. It's a 7-day challenge on, is your book ready to be marketed? And we highly recommend you take it because it's literally the steps that we put a lot of our clients through, or potential clients. We don't take everybody. So if someone's not ready for our services, we actually say, hey, we want you to go through this challenge. We want you to make sure that your stuff's ready before we even see it. We're still going to end up making tweaks. Mandy and I are the type who are more of an ad managers and consultants than we are just managing ads, because we really do invest. And this is not like a commercial for what we do. I'm just saying, when you're working with someone who's trying to sell your stuff, you need to make sure that your blurb is pretty, your landing page is ready, your covers are ready, and we want you to make sure that that's in place. So go sign up for it's free. It's a 7-day challenge, just free, and we're not trying to sell anything to you afterwards. It's literally just are your books and stuff ready to be bought, ready to be sold, ready to be marketed? Because if not, you're just blowing money and time.
Yeah, then you just need to work on it. It's not a big deal. It's just another step. You work on it, and then you prepare yourself,
Yeah,
because you'll save a lot of money in the long run. So
yes, because you don't want to come to us later, come to someone else. A lot of people do the ad consulting and the ad marketing teaching and stuff. A lot of people do it and they know, so they can look at your stuff. We could look at your stuff and say, your ads aren't working because your crap's not ready.
Yeah, it's just not ready.
It's not ready. And that's okay. Everybody's learning. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you've been doing this for 30 years, you've been doing this for 1 year, everybody's learning. So just make sure that you're ready for the market. And and the biggest thing though, what do we always say here, Mandy?
Make sure you have a goal.
Make sure that you're sticking to your brand.
And make sure you're having fun.
Because
like
it
Bonnie
is,
and I.
yeah, right? We're always having fun. It's so much fun, but fun doesn't mean you're not stressed. So we just really hope that these tips are helping you. We really want to make sure that you are succeeding, and we're trying to help you out by giving those tips that a lot of people just aren't hearing right now. So share these things with friends, share the link, hit like and subscribe. The reason we want you to share with friends is because success, I think it's funner, it's better, it's all the things when you succeed with other people. So you can be growing together and learning together. And I think that's super important. So anyways, that's my inspirational thing for the day. All right, guys, check out our free Facebook group, and the links are all down below, and we will see you next Monday. Hi, guys. Welcome back to Monday Marketing Tips and Tricks with Finding Your Indie. I'm Bonnie Paulson.
And I'm Andy Stevens.
And we are here. This is kind of a serious post for us. Usually we're a little bit more lighthearted. We'll probably have jokes in here because that's how we roll. But this week we're talking about market fluctuation. And as we check our notes to make sure, we're not ignoring you, we're just dropping our gaze to make sure we're catching our notes correctly. The first thing that we want to talk about is, what is market fluctuation? A lot of our clients right now, and I'm sure everybody's seeing this because I have access to more than 40 accounts, and I can see who's doing what across where. Some of my clients are wide, some of our clients are KU, some of our clients are direct. And I'm going to tell you right now, everybody is down. I've been in this business since 2007, so I have a lot of information on what goes up and what goes down. Okay, so as you can see in the first few graphs, it starts to kind of drop in January. There's a nice big hit at the beginning of January, end of December, because everybody gets their Christmas stuff. Then you start to see, okay, January's looking pretty good. And then it starts to drop. February starts to drop. Then it goes, March goes, and then tax season hits. And April is a hard month for everybody. It just is what it is. Usually there's a drop in the KEMP page rate. Sometimes there's just, I mean,
which we saw.
Yeah, which we saw. I mean, this is standard. Like this is the standard. A lot of people though are saying that it's no, I have to quit the business. I have to do this because there's a drop. Okay. So first of all, a market fluctuation is something that happens over time in the sales. And that's mostly what we're talking about is sales. There might be something else, but ultimately it comes down to what the readers are reading, when, and why. The first thing that we want to talk about outside of the year, right? January through April is always a drop. May, there's always a pickup because we've got strong summer reads. We're going to talk about how you can fix and protect against this later on in this video. But right now, we're going to talk about some other swings that you're going to notice inside of a market fluctuation. The first one, outside of the time frame, is the genre pendulum swing. Everybody talks about this. Remember when vampires were a huge thing in the early 90s? And then suddenly they weren't? And then suddenly they were because Twilight.
Yeah, I remember when everyone jumped ship from paranormal to contemporary and then back again. I've seen that a few times already.
Yeah, and now they're doing it again. Some people remember when Bullies was huge and now Bullies not so much. And then we had wolf shifters were massive and now dragons and maybe not dragons. Next is mermaids. Like this is a part of it. This is a part of it. And sometimes it's determined on what movies are coming out. Sometimes this depends on what's going on in the world. People don't necessarily want dark, or maybe they want super dark. Maybe they want light and fluffy. Rom-coms seem to have really been a big hit because people want to laugh. They don't want to worry right now. So that's the genre pendulum swing. Yes, right now, paranormals are big, and then maybe fantasy, and then maybe sweet romance, and then maybe thrillers. And mysteries and thrillers always seem to be a big part of it. But cozies might be really big one year, and literal thrillers might be the next ones. So you're really looking at a genre pendulum swing. Okay. Then we have the seasonality of sales. And we talked about that kind of at the beginning, where, January, February, March. But we also need to talk about, like, for instance, November. People are getting ready for the holidays. People are getting ready for Thanksgiving. They're getting ready in the US, it's Thanksgiving. Other places, everyone has Christmas. So other places we're talking about Christmas. We might be talking about Jewish holidays. We have all kinds of options, plus in school, plus end of semester. It is a literal cluster. And September is usually when a lot of traditional publishers release their works as well. So we're fighting a whole huge grab for money. It just is. Like, it's crazy. Would you agree with that?
And ads are more expensive too.
Oh my gosh.
Because everyone is advertising for everything, for Christmas gifts. So
yes, everything's triggered. Algorithms are triggered weird. Like everything is just weird. That's the seasonality of sales. And then we talk about the real world effects on readers and their spending. Remember the beginning of last year when the war on Ukraine started? I can't believe that was last year already. So we had the war on the Ukraine situation happened. We had a pandemic.
That was actually good for books.
It was really good for books, right? Like, that's what I was just going to say is, if you had a terrific 2020 and 2021, and then now you're like, I can't figure out why my sales don't match and my sales are dropping. Honey, those were pandemic situations.
Yeah,
you are a pandemic moneymaker. You need to flip the switch and get out of your head that was the norm. This is the norm. Right now, we're in the norm. And this, I mean, I literally can be like, okay, look at this compared to 2019. It's almost identical. 2018, 2017. I mean, the 2008 and 2016, there were two different slight recessions in there. I'm not sure if they declared it or not, but there was a definite economic thing. And so there were some big moneymakers made in those years in the author industry. Anytime there's an economic drop, it's almost like we see it for a little bit, like the authors really feel the pinch, and then suddenly people can't afford to go to movies. They can't afford to go to bars. They can't afford to go out and do the normal stuff, so they grab a book. Books
vacations.
Exactly. And they can't do vacations or whatever. So they're reading. They're, it's the cheapest way to really entertain yourself. So it's great. So that is like, you need to really be thinking about what's going on in the world right now that could be affecting sales. Next one is, how do you note for market fluctuation? How do you know if it's market fluctuation or if it's just your stuff is crap? I'm pretty blunt, so sorry. Here's what we're going to talk about here. First of all, you're not going to look day to day. The sales that you have today could be the result of something you did yesterday. It could be the result of something you did 2 weeks ago or 30 days ago. It could be the result of something you set in place 6 months ago. You don't know. Okay. So it's not fair to say, oh, I spent $20 today and I made 40, so I made double my return, but you actually didn't. And when we send out reports to our clients, for instance, we have them and we're showing, oh yeah, we spent this much and we made this much. But really what we're saying is, because like, let's be honest, you didn't make that money this month. That money is actually going to come to them, and it's going to come to those people or to you in 2 months, whenever Amazon or the wide retailers actually pay you. That's where it's like, well, it's kind of a hard thing, because actually what we spend today, you actually won't see the results in the money for another 30 to 60 days, right? Maybe more, depending on. Let's not look at the day to day. Let's not even look week to week. What is best to compare is year over year. So if we look at 2018 to 2019, did you climb? 2021 to 2022, did you climb? 2022 to 2023, is it a drop? Is it a climb? What efforts are you making? You're looking year to year. What have you done?
Are you releasing? That's a huge thing. Somebody's like, oh, I'm down. I'm like, when was the last time you released?
Right. Exactly. I have 2 pen names dealing with that right now. And I'm like, Mandy keeps asking me, well, when did you release? And I'm like, you're right. It's been 2 years. They're doing really great, actually, considering I haven't had a release in 2 years. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. And I'm fine with that, because I honestly don't want to strangle. And I mean, I do want to strangle. I don't want to wrangle 14 pen names anymore. I'm getting tired. I want to pull back. I want to pick my winners and stick with those. You also can't do month over month. Here's what we can't compare. For our clients, we compare the current month to the last month, so we can show the compounding influence, right? The compounding results. The ultimate way to look and see if your return is actually higher, whether it's ads, promotions, time of year, fluctuation, seasonality, anything, is to compare this January to last January, or January of this year to 2019 January.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2019, because we're
not
comparing
I know, right?
2020.
Right. But still, it's still fair to say 2022 was slightly starting to come out of that pandemic thing. You're still going to see some of that tail, but ultimately, you really just need to be like, okay, take a breath. What efforts have I been doing? What does it look like time over end, right? End over time. So if you're comparing month over month, it's January to last January. If you're brand new and you're like, I'm just seeing a huge drop right now, look at the seasonality of it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to compare what is going on worldwide to what is going on locally. If you are looking worldwide, there might be wars, earthquakes, other traumatic events. There might be some great things happening. World Cup, there's all Olympics, there's a lot of things that pull people's attention. And that's what we're fighting for, right? Is their attention. But what about locally, here in the US? What's happening in the US? Well, we have Thanksgiving. You're not going to see a lot of reading on that Thursday. You're just not.
No.
Boxing Day in the UK, you might see some, but I doubt it. There's a lot of different local things that actually compare. And the way you can compare that is, again, this month compared to last year's month, or whatever, or this year compared to last year, 90 days compared to 90 days. That's what you're looking at, is that kind of information. Please, 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 if you have not had a chance, read the book, The Forest Through the Trees. Have you heard that book? I'll get the link and I'll put it in. It's Forest for the Trees. And what it is it says, or the forest to the, whatever. I suck at titles, but I'll get you the link. But ultimately what it's saying is it explains why you don't look at the trees. You don't focus in on that stuff. You have to look at the big picture. Are you seeing growth somehow? Are you seeing maintenance somehow? That's ultimately what you need to be comparing for. And when does it affect you? When does seasonality, or when does this market fluctuation affect you?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. There's always something going on, Kids go back to school. Kids get out of school. Christmas.
Yes. TikTok viral.
Day.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I had a friend who messaged me. It was like, oh my gosh, my TikTok video went viral and now I'm making $35,000 a month. And I think I'm going to have my husband quit his job. And I was like, wait, what?
No.
No, you had one video go viral. No.
Yeah.
That's not funny. And she was like, oh no, my husband can quit his job now. The next month she was down to 7,000. And she was like, my husband quit his job
now. Oh no.
Yeah. And I was like, oh that stings. You know what I mean? Because that, first of all, I love TikTok. I think it's a great tactic to have inside your strategy, but I don't think, and Manny knows,
it can't be the entire thing.
No, it can't. And just
you
because,
use that to build other parts of your business.
And the one viral thing, what happens if we suddenly get it banned or we don't have access anymore? You know, like there's all kinds of, So it's very concerning when we are like, hey, this happened or this is happening, and now my whole business is doomed, or my whole business is a winner, and we need to take it in stride and go slow. So the next question is, what can we do to protect against this? First of all, keep in mind that your money is going to fluctuate throughout the year. So if you're like, okay, my really great months are $10,000 a month, or let's even go slower. Let's even go lower. My great months are $3,000 a month. My lowest months are $1,500 a month. Okay. You need to be budgeting for those $1,500 a month. That's what you should be spending. You should not be going above that. Just because you have some really nice thick months, you need to plan on famine. And I've had people say, oh no, but I can't. No, do that, because then you're not sitting here going, oh, I suddenly am making $4,000 a month and I can make, wait, I don't understand. Why am I down to 2,500? Well, your baseline is 1,500. So anything above that is where you would set yourself, right? Does that make sense? Okay, but that's the first thing, is to budget accordingly to your lows, not to your average and not to your highs. You get extra money, great. If you haven't read Profit First, check it out. Another one is
build your newsletter.
Build your newsletter.
There's so many things you need. Like I said just a minute ago, you have to have that table with the different parts of your business that are the legs.
Right.
It all works together.
Yes.
Have those strong things, have a strong newsletter, do things like create promotions.
Have your magnets, have everything in place so that you can build that. I love that. Creating your promotions. You have a strong networking plan. Do you have other similar authors that you guys can work together to create some way to promote yourselves? Do you have something in place? If you don't, get out there and network. Join our free group on marketing on Facebook and network with people. Figure out how, with everybody being like-minded with marketing and pushing their books, get in there and get something going. Have a strong marketing and ad strategy in place to account for any fluctuation. If you know coming in advance that April's going to be a down month because of tax season, maybe you could offer a first in series tax exclusive sale. Like, hey guys, instead of stressing about taxes, here's the first book in my series free. Check it out.
Yeah.
That's a viable, valid promotion plan, and it's in your marketing strategy, and you've already planned for it, and you're counting on having a drop in sales. You're planning on it. You also want to be willing to, you need to be willing to pivot. I need to put Ross Geller, pivot,
right.
Pivot.
Oh, I mean, anybody that's been in this industry for a while knows that you constantly are having to pivot. Things change. You have to be willing to change with it. So
you do. And so when you have an ad strategy and a marketing strategy in place, that gives you a foundation to pivot with. And so we highly recommend that you guys make sure that you're checking out in our group on some of our tips and tricks on marketing and ad strategies. We do have boss mode, which actually walks you through how to do it. But all of that to say, that whole thing, market fluctuation, all of that comes down to, what is your goal? Are you sticking to your brand? And are you having fun? Like, isn't that what everything comes down to for us? Are you having fun? We know that the market fluctuation is scary. We get it. We understand it. We're emotionally and personally invested in every single one of our clients. And when we see them drop, I know, right? I'm like, I feel sick when we're dropping. Yeah. I feel terrible. I understand panic. I seriously, I get it. I do. My constant thing that I want to remind people is look and compare. Where were you at last year compared to where you are this year? What are the steps that you have in place? One of the things that we try to talk to with our clients is, what kind of a strategy do you have going forward with releases, with promotions, with other marketing strategies? What do you have in place? And we usually try to coach people on that. And that's why we thought, hey, maybe we could come here and help people as well. We want people to succeed. We want to see everybody succeed, because this is not a zero-sum game. This really is reader and making, if we're all succeeding, that means people are reading. And when people are reading, they're entertained. And I'm a reader. I need more good books in my hand. So promote to me. I need some books. Decide for me what I'm going to read, because I hate trying to make that decision. So hit like and subscribe. If you have any questions, let us know. Again, join our free Facebook group. The link's in the descriptions. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. And we look forward to talking with you again. We hope that this Monday marketing tip has helped you. Hi guys, and welcome back to Finding Your Indie. It's Monday Marketing Tips and Tricks Day, and we are talking about net over ROI. I'm Bonnie Paulson.
And I'm Mandy Stevens. So, Bonnie, why don't you explain to everybody what exactly net is?
Okay, awesome. So net, when we're talking about as ad managers, Mandy and I are both ad managers with Finding Your Indie. And when we're talking about net, we're talking about net profit after ad spend. This is not about after translations. This doesn't cover what you spent on your covers, and it doesn't include editing fees or promotional fees. What this covers, as far as we're concerned, and when we're talking ads specifically, not marketing, but ads specifically, we're talking about your gross income minus your ad spend equals your net. So what's remaining? So your profit after ad spend. So if you have an ad manager, this should not include the ad manager fee. This should not include the promos and stuff that you had. This is literally looking at specific ad spend compared to the book and the series that you were putting those ad spends on. That's what we're talking about. And it's kind of funny because I hear people say all the time, well, but my net isn't this. And it's like, yeah, but when you're talking to an ad manager, your net should only be those things that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
we understand that there's more. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So explain to everybody exactly what the ROI is.
So ROI is return on investment. And return on investment, usually they talk about it in percentages, but when we talk about it, we're going to keep it clear. We're going to talk about it in a ratio or a fraction, if you will. So for every dollar you spend, you get a certain amount of money back. And that money is usually represented like this. We're going to put a ratio up above. So it's like $1 to $2. You might spend $1 and you get $2 back. You might spend $1 and you get $30 back. I would love that. So, but when we're talking about ROI, that's what we're talking about. The return of investment can either be in percentages or it can be in ratios. So that's what we're talking about.
Okay. So why is one more important than the other?
That's a really good question. So in some terms, like when you're talking about scaling and growth, ROI is really important. So I can tell if you're in a growth period by looking at, say you're like, oh, I just upped my spend and my ROI is at 1 to 2. Mandy and I know that when your returns at 1 to 2, or like 1 to 5, 1 to 1.5, or 1 to 2, or 1 to 2.5, usually you're in a period of growth if you've just increased your scaling efforts. And what that means is you're ramping up, right? You haven't had an opportunity to have your sales catch up with your spend. And that's okay. You give yourself some time and it's fine. But usually ROI is really important for that measure. Or it's also a good tell to tell us, maybe the audience targeting isn't correct. I'm spending $1 and I'm making $1.50. Like that's not really the best return. There's a lot of different things that would tell us what that would be, what that would be causing. Maybe it's just on book 1. Maybe the series isn't finished. Maybe you're just looking at standalones. Maybe the books are too short to, if you're in KU. So there's a lot of things that would tell us, oh, that isn't the best ROI. However, if you're looking at net, sometimes the ROI might actually be spot on at 1 to 2 and you're spending $10,000 and you're getting $20,000 back. I'll take that return any day, right? I'll give you $10,000 if you'll give me $20,000 back. So really, it's a question of which one's better. An ROI of I spend $1,000 and I get $5,000 back. So that's a 1 to 5. Or I'm going to spend maybe $2,000 and I'm going to get $9,000 back. And so that would give you like a 1 to 4.5, right? So, but it gives you $7,000 back versus the $4,000 back. So your ROI and your net, sometimes they can play together, sometimes not. But I think for us, it's really important that we focus on net. Are you making a return? Or do you have a return? And then using the ROI as just one of those analytic points, one of those data points to tell us how to get there and how to scale better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
So now that you guys know the difference between net and ROI, there are some things that you need to keep in mind as you're working forward on figuring out your ads. We have some rules that we have here at Finding Your Indie. Mandy, you want to start us off?
Yeah. Make sure that you have a goal.
Yes. Make sure you have a goal. Make sure you're sticking to your brand.
And make sure that you're having fun.
Because if you're not having fun, what's the point? This is just boring. Now, make sure and invite your friends, hit like and subscribe. And we will see you on our next Monday Marketing Tips and Tricks. Hey, I said it right the first time.
Yeah.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Hi, guys, and welcome back to Finding Your Indie. This is a Monday Marketing Tips and Tricks video. I'm Bonnie Paulson.
And I'm Mandy Stevens.
And we are with Finding Your Indie. We're ad consultants and ad managers and marketing consultants. And Mandy's a social media guru and all the things. You can join us in our free Facebook group where we talk marketing and ads, the basics. And then we also have Boss Mode, Hive Mind, and the Toolkit. So go check them out. We have links below.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about patience because, we deal with this a lot. People want something done. They want their ads started and they want to make $1 million right away. And people don't understand that things take time.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, I do it too. When I have a book out and I'm like, hey, I want to put money on this and I want to see $1 billion the first day. And then it's like, wait, you know better. So let's, so usually I'm having to talk myself down because, I am my own ad manager.
Yeah.
So yeah. Right. So many like, yeah, me too. So we have to talk ourselves down. We get it. It is hard to be patient. What do we mean by patience? Well, let's talk about what we mean by actually having patience.
All right. So you just put the ad up yesterday and you want it to start converting right away, but people don't understand that it takes a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it takes a while because whether you do AMS ads, whether you do BookBub ads, or you do Facebook ads, they all have to go through a certain learning period. And that period is determined differently on each platform. However, honestly, it doesn't matter which one it is. You still have to have a learning period. It's technology. It is what it is. It can't just come out of the gate being like, I know who to show this to, where you at. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. Also, we have a lot of people who are like, oh, I just published my book an hour ago. Why aren't my ads running? Why aren't my ads working? And it's like, because there's a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Again, we didn't have a link until 20 minutes ago. So your ads have to be made. Again, your ads need time to learn.
Yeah.
Mandy, what about the person who's looking at every day and they're like, I don't understand. I spent $20 today and we just started them yesterday. Why didn't I make $80 today?
I hate money.
But what about that? Like, guys, you can't look at day over day and you can't look at today and compare it to last week. You can compare week over week. You can compare month over month. You can compare this month to, like, let's say we were in April, which we're not, but let's say it's April. You can compare April of this year to maybe April of last year, but you can't compare April of 2022 to April of 2020. That's just that's not going to work. Like, there's a lot of discrepancies and variables in place, and looking at something day over day shoots you in the foot for accuracy, right? Like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But comparison is important.
It is. So in what aspects do we need to be patient?
Anything that requires a result. And we're looking at our notes because Mandy and I have very extensive conversations about each of our videos that we're going to do. We don't just put this crap up. We're outlined, we discuss everything, and we want to make sure we're giving you the correct information. The things that we're talking about with what you need patience from is, number one, sales. Like, if you just put ads up or you're doing a promotion thing, what if Amazon or KDP is not updating their reporting accurately on that day? They're going to report, but what if they're a little lagging today, just for whatever reason?
Yeah, it just happened this past week.
It just happened. It's more common than people think.
Yeah.
So sales, how about ranking? Your rank might be affected, right? We've seen that. Followers. We have subscribers, your page reads, your writing process. Like, have patience. You can't write a 90,000 word book in a day. Like, it's just, even with AI as your friend, I don't know if you're using AI or not, but like, even with that, like, it's still not going to be published ready. So you need to have anything that is going to require a result using actions which is what ads are or marketing is. You have to have patience in seeing the results. And it's a brand lift. It's a series lift.
So how do you know that it's not patience that you need to have?
You mean like if your books suck?
Yeah, like if your book's just not doing good, you're like, okay, Bonnie, I've been patient for, but
4 months,
I tell people when they need to fix their landing page,
right,
when their covers aren't quite up to par,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
We do that for our people, but people who are watching this might not know that they need to update things. So when do they know that?
Well, usually if you're putting in, so for me, I'll look at someone's stuff, and I know you do this too. So let's say we take on a new client And they're like, I just can't figure out. I've been spending money every day on my ads. I'm putting money in. I'm trying to run sales. Can you fix this? And so we usually get in, whether they've had a previous ad manager or they're just doing it themselves. We get in and we don't just look at their ads. We don't look at their ads first. We look at their brand. We look at the books that they're trying to push. How on brand are they? How to market are the covers? And they don't have to be perfect, but they do need to be good, right? I mean, you don't have to be great, but you have to be good at least, especially.
They have to tell the reader what to expect.
Yeah. And they can't look like your second grade kid made them. I don't care how talented they are. They can't look like it. Even if you're the one that made them and it looks like it, you just can't. So professional, right? Your blurb needs to be good. Your blurb needs to be having a good representation of white space on the landing page. You really check out. So we have brand spotlights, check those out. But really what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're pushing something out there that is worthy of having money spent on it. I always tell this joke. Mandy, you and I were joking about this. I'm like, yeah, I can sell your crap, but it won't get a great of return. If you want me to sell your stuff and make you money, make sure I'm not getting a box of crap to sell. Like that's literally it. Like that's it, right? Like there is an audience out there for any book. But if it's not a good book, the audience won't return for the next book. Okay. It has to be good. It really does have to be good. The premise has to be good. The editing needs to be solid. The cover needs to be solid, all those things. So if your sales just aren't there, something is wrong with the message that you're delivering. Right. I mean, and you got to know that. Like, okay, I've been running ads for however long, and you're like, I can't figure out why I'm not making money. That's probably why.
One thing I see a lot is people not being consistent to their brand. They're writing a certain genre, and then they're like, oh, I'm going to publish blah blah blah, and you're like, whoa, you've been writing young adult, and here you go writing extra spicy. Maybe put that under a different name.
Yeah. Oh yes, good point. Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, consistency is a huge one. Followers, again, are you being consistent? Is your brand going up? Is your followers going up? TikTok, I don't care where you're at. TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Snickataka. I don't even know what the names are of all the places. I just made some up. Snickataka, I don't know, Snapchat, whatever. If your followers aren't going up, you're not doing something right. It's probably, like Mandy said, being consistent.
And another thing with patience is, are you being realistic? So a lot of people have these huge expectations and they don't realize that things take time.
Yeah.
So it's like rolling up a hill, it takes time.
Yeah. And if you're like, I had a client, so I've had clients in the past who were like, okay, we're starting right out of the gate. And the first month is always nice because I'm usually cutting their ad spend. They're still going up. Things are going well. And then we get into the second month and things start to settle, right? They start to become where, okay, the audience is learning. Now we need to start getting ready to scale. Usually by that time, they're like, well, my return's not there. Let's turn off the ads. And it's like, no, dude, no, stop turning off the stuff. We're sticking to your budget, we're doing all the things that we've talked about, leave it alone. So that's where the patience really comes in. Like, are you waiting? Are we dealing with a holiday? Are we dealing with market fluctuation? Like, we're not spending more than we're making. So let's just breathe into it a little bit. Let's see what we're doing.
And this is a business, it takes an investment.
Yeah,
whether you're doing things yourself or somebody else is, doing them for you. It takes time and it's investment. It's
exactly.
I think a lot of people view this as a hobby, but if you really want to make money, then it's a business.
Yeah, exactly. That's if you treat it like a business. Another thing that's interesting though which is really important in this business, specifically in the author world, is your read through. So if you're expecting to make money the first month, you're expecting that all of your readers have read through all of your books in that 1 month. And that's just not realistic. No. That would be determined by them being a whale reader. And as we know, most whale readers will go through your stuff, but I think whale readers make up less than 15% of the actual audience out there. So you need to be realistic in the expectations that you have. Also, people are like, hey, I have a newsletter list, and let's say there's 10,000 people on the list. I know they've read they have not read all your stuff. I guarantee it right now. The person who says that, it's
people
crazy.
Are constantly adding to their list. That's a big thing, when we talk about social media is you have to remind your readers constantly.
Right. Constantly. And they might want to read your stuff again. You don't know, but I guarantee your list has not read everything. I guarantee it. They have not read everything unless you
have like 3 books, and they might have.
Unless you have 3 books and 3 readers, because you're just not going to appeal to everybody on all of your books. So keep that in mind as you're talking about your ads and your spend. And are you allowing for read through? Are you allowing for market fluctuation? Are you allowing for reality? Like, are you? So, and if you have questions, reach out. We'd love to talk about it with you. But again, whenever we talk about our videos, whenever we're here, we want to make sure that you have a goal. Make sure you have a goal.
And make sure that you're sticking to your brand. That's extremely important.
Yeah. Remember that consistency thing we talked about. Make sure you're having fun, because it should always be fun.
I mean, it is a business, but you should love what you're doing.
Yeah, you really should. Or you're just moving from one 9 to 5 hell to the next. That's all you're doing. So, okay, guys. So we're grateful you guys were here. That's really an important thing, is to have patience in this industry. And especially in the pay to play field. If you have questions, let us know, put them in the comments, come find us on our free group, hit like and subscribe, and get a notification for the next time that we have another video up. And I hope you'll join us again on another Monday marketing tips and tricks. Nailed it. Thanks, you guys. Hi, guys. Welcome back to Monday Marketing Tips and Tricks with Finding Your Indie. I'm Bonnie Paulson.
And I'm Mandy Stevens.
And we are super excited to have you today. We are talking about pay to play. Pay to play. I throw this around so much because it's like one of the most significant topics out there right now, and nobody really is talking about it. Everybody's asking, how do I do things for free? How do I do this? How do I do this? Dude, you're in a pay to play environment right now. We're going to talk about what that means and how that affects you and ways around it and ways to deal with it. Okay. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, what is pay to play?
It's when you are paying for visibility. It's paying to get your book in front of readers' eyes.
Yep, exactly. Now, if you have a newsletter subscriber, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, that's your audience. So you're not necessarily paying. But if you're running ads, or you're running promotions, or you're doing a newsletter swap, you are literally renting someone else's audience. So you need to pay for that. And having this expectation of, oh, it's Facebook, they should let me do whatever I want, blah, blah, blah. No, you're renting there. You're literally staying there. You need to play by their rules. So who does this affect in our industry? Yeah. Who does this affect in our industry? We're in the author industry. We're talking about authors right now. Who does this affect? I put it in my notes, everyone and their dog. Everybody, everyone and their dog. This affects everybody right now. You have a book about a dog, your dog's paying the rent right now. Like, it's seriously a thing. So if you're like, oh, I can do this without having to pay for anything. I'm finding that there are more and more people saying, oh, I don't pay for ads. And then you see their ads running. Or they're like, oh, I just do TikTok, so I'm not paying for anything. But you are paying for something. You're doing images, you're doing video creation, you're paying with your time. You literally are, you're paying somehow to play the game. And that's literally what this is, right? Like, you're paying to play. I remember when I first started, it was in 2008. It's published by Karina, when it was owned by Harlequin. And they were explaining to me my marketing role. And I was like, wow, that sounds so easy, because it wasn't a lot. There wasn't as much you could do. So I remember that it was like, man, this is easy. But then as we started to get into this whole ads mentality of AMS ads, Facebook ads, Dawson's courses, all the things, right? Like, and then more and more people started to market that way. And now that became the default, and it's no longer the free stuff. BookBub in 2014 was when that one really hit. 2014.
Yeah.
I got a BookBub in just November that year, and I made a ton of money. And it wasn't very much money. It was like $200 that I spent on it, and I made like $37,000 that month. And so it was like, it wasn't as high of a pay to play. And the further we get into this game, the more everyone has to pay in some way. Your three resources, your three budgets that you have, right? Finances, or your money, time, and your resources. You're spending something to play this game. Okay, so how can you keep it cheap? Well, there's some ways that you can do it. You can hire people, right? You can hire people to do the work for you. That cleans up your time, right? Ad management, Mandy and I do that. You have social media VAs. You have form editors, video creators. Like, there's all different kinds of things that you can do for that aspect to save your time. But some other things that you can do to make it cheap would be to have.
So if you have a strong newsletter, and then you own your own audience.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have to pay to build that audience, but it's still yours in the end. Nobody can take that from you.
Right, exactly. And the minuscule cost of a newsletter on a newsletter platform really is a good investment. It's like paying rent on a house, right? Instead of paying rent to a store. If you have well-targeted ads, it'll help keep your CPC down and your conversion up. Another thing is great networking can be useful. That's with promos inside indie groups. We have a free indie group that you can, a Facebook group that you can join, network with other people, figure out some great marketing ideas. That's what we're doing in there. We're literally marketing and talking marketing to each other. We're not spamming each other. We're talking about possible promos and ways that we're marketing. Another thing that what Mandy talks about a lot, she's an expert in this.
So social media and engagement with your readers, the more active your Facebook page is, the lower your CPC will be.
Yes, exactly. And you also are getting in front of people. When you have the engagement, Mandy's always yelling at me, make sure your stuff's engaging because it'll show more on the algorithms. And I'm like, I hate social media, but it's a free way to stay in front of my readers that are trying to find me there.
And you're sharing your newsletter links, and you're sharing links to your books and
all the things.
Like that.
Yeah, you're literally sharing
all the things all the time.
All the things all the times. If you're playing and you're paying, let's talk some resources. The reason why this is so important is a lot of people don't know what some of these are, and that's okay. Maybe we'll do some videos on what these are later, but right now what we really want to talk about is just your options. Here are just a few options. This is not all inclusive, nor is it exclusive. These are some options just off the top of our head. There's a ton more after. We've got newsletter promos.
Newsletter swaps. We already talked about the Facebook pages. Facebook groups too.
Got TikTok and Instagram.
Blogs, but only if you're focusing on readers and not targeting other authors. That is a huge pet peeve of
I know.
You're trying to sell your own books and then you're talking anyway.
Yeah, you're talking to the authors about the author world. Nobody cares. Talk about your books.
Yeah. Ads, PR companies.
Good ones.
Kickstarters are huge right now.
Patreon is good too. I think though with Kickstarters and Patreon, here's something to keep in mind. If you're doing those, you still have to promote them.
Yes.
So how are you getting them to the landing page? And that's ultimately what paying to play is. You need to get your reader or your new audience from here to here. And how are you doing that? So Kickstarters and Patreons, like Mandy said, they're great. They're huge. People love doing them. But you still have to figure out how you're getting them from A to B. There's some other options that we have, like the YouTube channels. Those are great. You can put your audiobooks up there, snippets, samples, just like YouTube. And if you saw our video on repurposing, if not, go check it out. I'll put the link right here. But make sure that you are checking out how to reuse your assets, because that'll save you time and money as well, which actually cuts down on your costs in the whole pay-to-play game. Okay, so guys, make sure you have a goal with whatever you're doing.
Make sure you're sticking to your brand.
Make sure you're having fun. That's literally what it's all about. Okay, so share. I hope this helped. Hit like, hit subscribe, share this video with a friend, because it's always fun to find success with others. And let's see you in the Facebook group. We would love to talk to you more. And good luck out there. It's a pay-to-play world. Hi, guys, and welcome to Finding Your Indie. This is our Monday marketing tips and tricks, and we are so excited today. We are talking about repurposing assets and using them more than once. Mandy, should we get started? What is repurposing?
It's when we share multiple assets to different platforms. So let's say you have TikTok. You make a TikTok, you share it to Instagram, you share it to Reels, you share it to Twitter. I also like to share it to actually Facebook and Instagram as well, not just the Reels.
Yeah, that's awesome. YouTube's a good one. I don't know if you said that. There was a whole list that you gave.
No.
I think she said YouTube. I love YouTube.
I didn't yet, but YouTube Shorts is a wonderful one.
Yeah, it's really good. So YouTube. So when you take one asset, this is and repurposing is taking, like, let's say, specifically in the author world, let's say you did that TikTok featuring that trope that you've been working really hard on, and you've got all of the words and stuff. We'll do a little screenshot of what it looks like what a video might look like, right? And then you would take that same video. It can't have the same music across TikTok and Facebook and, Instagram, but you can take the same video. And then you can, like Mandy said, put it on Instagram, apply the music there, put it on YouTube, apply whatever you're going to do there. Okay. So
I share the same songs across platforms, and I have no problem whatsoever.
Oh, okay. That's good. On some of mine, I've been demonetized. I guess it just matters like what your goal is. So, and we'll talk about goal at the end of it. That's awesome. So I guess the next question that we would have is, why would we repurpose?
Make your life easier. You know, you already have this one piece of content. Share it.
Share it everywhere. Yep.
Yeah, share it everywhere. Make your life easy.
Yeah. Another thing is you have different audiences in different places. We've talked about this before. Go where you are comfortable going. Well, if you're comfortable on TikTok and you've made a TikTok video, it's not going to hurt you to go put it on Instagram. It's just going to find you more of an audience. Some people are on, I'm rarely on TikTok. Well, I get on TikTok like on certain times, but I'm looking for other things on Instagram than I look for other things on YouTube. So I'm not like ever in the same place for the same purpose. So that's what you're going to come across too. People will be like, oh, I'm here on TikTok because I want to learn, I want to do the book talk, or I'm on Instagram because I'm looking at food prep. I don't know. Weights are in YouTube. I don't know, but there's different audiences in different places.
Yeah. And different algorithms too,
Yes.
Different times a day, different, TikTok might not pick up on something, but you might have 10,000 views on your Instagram reels. It's crazy how that happens.
Isn't that weird? The algorithms are just cranky, and they're all different companies too. So who knows how they have their coding going. But I do like that we're going to be using one asset more than once. What does that do? That saves you time and your energy and your creative resources. So if you are doing, like we said, a video and you put it on TikTok and you put it on Instagram and you put it on YouTube Shorts and you put it on Facebook, and I don't know another one I'm thinking of.
Twitter.
Yeah, like Twitter, like the list keeps going, right? But you took one and you multiplied it by 5 or 7 or 8. So you're literally saving yourself time in your marketing efforts, and they're free. You just have to either have a VA who uploads them for you or creates them as well, or you are scheduling them yourself. Okay.
Another thing that I do, we're getting ready to talk about that, repurposing.
How do we repurpose? Yes. Let's talk about that.
So, I make the video and then I like business. Okay. So I automatically upload to my TikTok. Sometimes I use CapCut. Sometimes I make a video outside of TikTok. It just depends on what my goals are. And then I turn around and I like to use Business Suite because it allows me to upload to Facebook Reels and to Instagram Reels at once. And that saves me time. But you can use other schedulers too.
I really like Loomly. That one seems to do pretty good, but it does send you, as of right now, it does send you to an app on your phone, and then you just share it from there, which is fine. Both Instagram and TikTok. I don't mind that. I have a VA who does my videos and stuff. And so he's always like, now use your phone because, it's TikTok. It's fine. So yes, make the asset the video, and then you're going to post it or schedule it. And whatever works for you, just so long as you're getting on and doing it. And what's nice is YouTube, you can now actually set shorts using the YouTube on your desktop. You don't have to just do it from your phone. So there's a lot of they are understanding and making things a little easier for content creators, and authors are content creators.
Yes.
As Mandy and I keep saying throughout this whole video, there's 3 things that you need to keep in mind with whatever you do with your marketing efforts. The first one is make sure you have a goal. So as we're talking about repurposing your TikTok videos to Reels, to, YouTube Shorts, to whatever, you just need to make sure that you have a goal. Are you just putting a picture up of you? And I'm talking about this as your author business. Are you putting a video up of you doing a dance? Is there a purpose for that? What's the goal there? Are you just trying to get subscribers? Are you just trying to have fun? All of that is fine. All of it's fine. If you just want to do it because you want to try the dance and you think it's funny, again, it's fine. But you need to make sure that your goals are clear. Because if your goal is, I want to make sure that I get a bunch of buyers from this and I want to promote my book, and yet all you're doing is a dance and there's no link, there's no information about a book or anything, you literally have shot your goal in the foot before you even started that first step. So make sure your goal is defined and you're doing something to align with your goal. Then the second thing, Mandy, would be
make sure you're sticking to your brand.
Should you be doing lovesick, cutesy things if you're writing apocalyptic thrillers?
Absolutely.
Probably not.
Probably not.
How about, should you be having and this is one that always comes up. If you are a sweet romance writer.
Spicy.
No spicy. No spicy, no bueno. Keep the shirt on the guy.
Right.
Just do it. And the last one is, though, to make sure you're having fun. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, your readers, and they'll know, because you're not going to be engaging the way that you want to be engaging. And I think that is super important, that you're sticking to your brand, you're having your goal, but are you having a good time? Right. If someone's like Negative Nancy and they actually don't want to be there, people know. And
if you're dreading it, that energy comes out,
Yeah.
I do want to say one thing before we leave. When I repurpose my content, I actually will reuse it in 3 or 4 months. So I'll have that TikTok, and then, 3 or 4 months later, I'll turn around and I will upload it again everywhere.
That's
so
awesome.
It's not just a one and done. Yeah. I've used that multiple times.
Yeah. So I would definitely put that into your asset bank. And we have asset banks, Mandy and I, because you're going to use them again and again. And Mandy does it every 3 to 4 months. I use my stuff like every week. Yeah, I'll reshare things every week, every other week, because you never know when you're going to actually hit the algorithm that TikTok likes it, or YouTube shorts are going to like it, or whatever. You're just always trying to get in front of people and get those algorithms to click. So share. All right, guys. Thanks for stopping by this Monday. Head out and do all kinds of good this week. We will see you next week.